Andrew Hawkins, are you worried about the face of Amin El-Hassan? I had not seen it this close up, and it is hella swollen, and that scar on what remains of his mustache.
We got to throw a flag here.
Hella?
Dan?
No.
You just had a birthday, dude.
I don't mind it.
Hella.
I didn't even bat an eye to it.
My issue is not that he's trying to sound young. My issue is that we haven't said hella for 20 years.
I was going to say it didn't sound young.
I wasn't going for young. I was just saying something I've said for 20 years. Like, and
You've said
You
hella?
said that for 20 years?
I feel like I would have thrown a flag
trendsetter.
every time. Hella.
I feel like that's a Bay Area thing, right? Hella. That's not like that's a regional slang, right? It's like saying shoddy. You don't say shoddy. Like
I believe though that we're deflecting, we're projecting, we're distracting. It's his face. Hawk, you played a violent sport.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't prize fighting. I don't know what the hell happened.
His face looks wicked swollen, man.
Did you get shot? What is going on?
That would be fun, right? It'd be a more fun story than tripping, falling face first in the middle of not in the middle, on a curb.
At what point did you get hyphy? I was asking the video people to get me. I've been scouring footage, trying to get where Amin fell on the street. To see if we could get that footage because we have cameras going on 24 hours, surveillance cameras out there. And if I had a time, I could be able to pinpoint, but I don't think you were close enough to the range. You were in one of those Mission Impossible camera blind spots, whenever it is, and I don't think we can find where you were.
Yeah, it was not on the Elser block, so that's already out.
That's too bad. That explains why none of the footage revealed a man falling on his face in the street in a pool of blood. But Hawk, for the people,
I don't know I don't know how to approach what's going on here. First off, I seen you this morning. And I didn't see you.
You know why? Because when you approached, I approached on purpose, right side first. Like, now I have a good side, ladies and gentlemen. So I went dap like this and then
dip right.
He shoulder to shoulder. He's going this way. So it's like there's nothing. And then I walked away. So all he saw was the back of my head.
Sat down. Even as Dan started talking, I have like a condition I call face blindness.
Also, because I was reading a book.
Where I don't look at people's faces.
I was reading a book like a spy. Like this.
Dude, it looks bad. I mean, it looked like I don't know if you really fell or if you're getting abused at home.
Well, Amin is holding a book in front of his face as if we're on video, which we're not. This is the Shadow Show. You have been disoriented. The thing that I find funniest about what's happening here, beyond even the way he's pronouncing words, and I can hear the lisp, when he laughs, the face moves, but not the lip. The lip stays stationary because it's like stapled by the scar to his face. And Hawk, you explain to the people. They'll have the reveal in a second, although he'll try to hide it. But explain what you're looking at as a man who has emerged from a violent sport.
It looks like he was the defender whose face Marshawn Lynch ran through a motherfucker of.
Does it look fleek?
It's lit, Dan.
It's cray-cray.
Holidays, a time for peace, for love, for presents. And do I have one for you? It's Poppy's 50 Shades of Christmas. You're welcome.
Oh, Anna, he breathed and he lets go. My name is Benediction. His body pressing down on me. His elbows and his hands on either side of my face. On his lips, and he finds his release. His head rests on my belly. His arm wrapped around me. I just want to enjoy the quiet, serene afterglow of making love with Christian Grey, because that's what we have done, gentle, sweet lovemaking. My subconscious remarks bitterly. In my head, I tell her where to go. Christian squirts baby oil into his hand and then rubs my behind with careful tenderness.
Thank you, Poppy. See, Greg, that's how it's done.
For a spank, he would have thought it was such a versatile liquid.
Es suficiente, Poppy. Okay, time to start the show.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Grateful for all our audience, grateful for this family of people who have held this business afloat here for the last 4 years, our last day before the new year, before a break. And I just wanted to say thank you to everyone in here and everyone in the other room who can hear me, because you guys have done a year of very hard, very proud work on what is still a startup. And we are thrilled to be expanding and adding new friends. And I just want everyone here to know the level of grateful I am, because I can be pouty and I can march around sometimes and my mood is hard to read. I want everyone to know here that I'm proud of the job that we've done. I'm happy to have Andrew Hawkins and Amin here today to help me sort out something I think I figured out last night. I will not believe that Denver Broncos team can win anything. And I haven't believed it all year. And I'm telling you what happened here, because that Bronco uniform is not something I necessarily associate with failure. John Elway changed that for me. And then Peyton Manning won a Super Bowl with a defense when he was throwing 9 touchdowns and 17 interceptions. But I can't shake that they allowed 70 to the Dolphins. And so when you're playing the Chargers, I'm like, you're not better than them. I will not believe you're better than them, even if you are better than them. You may be better than them. I've seen the numbers on Bo Nix. Their offense, points and yards per play, not a lot of difference between this and last year. And I don't believe anyone else in the audience believes in those Broncos. Do you disagree? You're looking at me like you disagree.
I'm looking at you because I didn't see the game last night, Dan. I got to be honest with you. I was traveling, and I would love to lie and just, if we were on the mothership, I would have just faked it, but too much respect for you to lie.
What would faking it sound like?
I would love to know what that would sound like. Let's
Look,
do this a different way.
Listen, when you look at the Denver Broncos this season, they have actually relied mostly on their defense and what Vance Joseph has done. Like, I like what Bo Nix has done as well, and it's obviously a match made in heaven with him and Sean Payton, but there have been times where you feel like the play calls are being called around some deficiencies he has. And there were moments that popped up last night, and when you look at a game like that, and you need your defense to step up. Well, now, when they don't, you have cause for concerns going into this stretch of the season, which is the most important part.
I believe Amin and Hawk could both do this probably off of games they didn't see. Amin, Memphis last night beats Golden State by 50. What were your thoughts? The Golden State Warriors embarrassed as Draymond Green goes 0 points, 0 rebounds, 0 for 4 from the field, 0 assists.
Definitely concerning, Dan, but I think the story today is about the Memphis Grizzlies, about how everyone forgot that this was a team before the injuries, before Ja Morant's legal troubles. This was a team that was right at the cusp. This was the Oklahoma City Thunder of a few years ago, right? Like where we're saying, oh, that's the next team right here. Yeah. These guys are going to elevate and they're going to take the mantle. And Ja Morant is going to be the face of the league, right? We're quick to forget. And yes, Ja made mistakes. I'm not here to, defend him or dismiss those accusations. What I am here to say is that didn't mean he forgot how to play basketball. When you watch the Grizzlies last night, that is a well-oiled machine. Don't be surprised if we see them in the Western Conference Finals.
I got a new show, First Fake, where we put them next to each other and we ask them questions asking for expertise on things they haven't seen.
That's been this show with Stugotz for 20 years.
Yeah, but we don't have a black guy going, when someone's making a good point.
It makes you really believe, like, damn, Draymond really went over last night.
This is bonus time at the company, and every time you've made that sound, I've inexplicably wanted to give you money, like just cash, because of how, man,
$100,000 every time.
I mean, Ocho's doing that for Shannon.
Hey, is he? There's money in it.
Good to know.
The Chargers last night, Hawk, I thought showed to me some of what it is that Jim Harbaugh says of Justin Herbert, that he's one of the best as a talent, skill guy that he's ever seen at the position. What were your thoughts on the Chargers last night?
As I'm sitting there and I'm enjoying a caramel macchiato watching this game late night with my feet snuggled up in an Ohio State Buckeye Snuggie that my wife gifted me on my birthday in college in 2008, I thought to myself, this is what you want when you came into this season from Harbaugh. Because you think about Justin Herbert and his arm strength, and you feel like he should have always been in the class with Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. The list continues. And last night when you got that glimpse of how Harbaugh has really brought his talent to the forefront and filled in that blind spot for him to get the most out of him. And there's moments where you see that incredible arm strength, right? And then that's where you get excited about, and you finally feel like this is what the Chargers needed to get over the hump.
But you didn't see the incredible arm strength, and what you did there was masterful on the front end.
Yeah.
Show America a little of your personality before you get to the take. Take them into your life, into the intimacy of your living room. Show them a little bit who Hawk really is as he fakes his way through the analysis.
17-year-old blanket that you're snuggled up in.
Hey, it's why it's my lucky blanket.
Here's what you do. You tell a little story about the blanket, and then you tie it back.
Yeah.
To what happens to something, right? Like that 17-year blanket, there's comfort there, right?
Uh-huh.
There's a level of familiarity, and that's
what Ladd McConkey has with Justin Herbert. And down the stretch, you saw it in those moments on third down.
You didn't see it, though. Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Do you have any blankets that are 17 years old, yes or no? I think we've got the start of a game here. I want to get to the stat of the day in a moment, but I want to ask this question seriously. In the history of sports entertainment, have any of you ever seen the faces of someone you loved on television while doing their job look as bad as Amin's does today? Anyone? Bob Costas had pink eye at the Olympics. Everyone had commentary on that. When have you ever seen a professional media face look as beat up as this one?
You're saying media, because I watch hockey. Like
Zach Hyman
slapper to the face.
No. I'm talking about when have you ever turned on whatever is your favorite sports show these days and seen Dan Patrick with a clearly bloodied by the previous evening?
I have an answer for you. It was me. Like 4 years ago on ESPN, I had a massive eczema outbreak and it attacked literally just my eyes. And so you can see how swollen my face is. That's what it looked like, except it was everywhere as opposed to just on one side of my face.
Why would you come to work?
Because I'm a gamer.
Oh, okay. We had this conversation last week.
He's a hockey player.
This is what I like about you.
I live for this, man.
Yeah, I like that.
Give me the stat of the day. Give me.
Get me juiced up over here, bro. Got freaking chills, man.
Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day.
Oh, sorry.
Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day.
Stat of the day is presented by Miller Lite.
Jeremy, I was told by Chris before he read that, first me, then Jeremy. So I sipped vigorously from a cup because I thought he had control of that room.
I was doing some extra research
I get it.
Dan.
I know. I'm just saying that's the communication I got while sipping coffee. The silence the audience got is because my executive producer told me.
He gave the communication
he said,
to me. It's
I'm
going
to read this thing, and then it's going to Jeremy. And then I looked at Jeremy, and Jeremy wasn't looking at me.
Off me, coach.
And he didn't even let Gonzo laugh on that one. You got to let Gonzo laugh. No,
Jordan Love. Jordan Love. Turns out he loves Toyotathon. According to at BR Gridiron from Bleacher Report. Not during Toyotathon in Jordan Love's career. He has thrown for 3,829 yards, 29 touchdowns, and 25 interceptions. But during Toyotathon, which lasts from about mid-November to the beginning of January, Jordan Love has thrown for 3,283 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions.
Wow. That is incredible.
That is kind of incredible.
All right, hold on. I got all sorts of questions, though. All right, so we've established Toyotathon.
Yeah.
What are his stats like during, Happy Honda days?
Oh, I'm glad you asked, Mike, because I actually already did the research to figure that one out for you.
That's ridiculous.
During Happy Honda days, which is from the beginning of November until the beginning of January, so you add a couple of extra weeks on the front end, Jordan Love has thrown for 4,088 yards, 29 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. So we're close to what he's doing in Toyotathon, but it takes until we get to Toyotathon to really limit those interceptions.
Now, Jeremy, how do we know that he's not doing this for December to Remember from Lexus?
You know, I can do some research on that if you would like.
And is it just a car thing? Like, what are his stats when the never-ending possible is back at Olive Garden?
Oh man, that's a good one. You know what?
Jeremy.
Actually, I already have those stats ready for you.
You know what,
I already have that ready for you. The never-ending pasta bowl, Dan. You don't want to know?
I'm glad that you have plenty to do. I want more of these assignments for the holidays to keep you busy. Look up all of these things.
Well, the never-ending pasta bowl normally lasts from August 26th until November 17th. Now, you know, obviously the NFL season doesn't start until September. So when you look at the stats for Jordan Love during that stretch, 4,421 yards, 31 touchdowns, 22 interceptions. So not quite the same with the never-ending pasta bowl. Toyotathon's his thing.
I'm going to need when the McRib is back. All right. So
okay, McRib. Let me write
your
that
list.
down.
And when Dollaritas are back at Applebee's.
Okay, Dollaritas.
Can we check back in? We'll check back in with him later. I want all of this information. I just prefer, though, to ask Andrew Hawkins, how good is Jordan Love?
So good. And when you look at the way that he performs, when you get into that late November, December part of the season, it makes you feel good about what you have as a quarterback, right? For what he has to follow up with Aaron Rodgers, obviously legendary there. But to be able to raise the bar that I feel like he has in that, I don't know if I'm being serious right now. This is a serious question.
I did. I wasn't asking you to fake it. I should have probably stayed there with you.
I was still heavy into the first fake bit.
No, I let that go. We're going to keep working on that. And at some point here, I want to go back to you and Amin and first fake, and we will see how good and sharp you guys can do this. But I really am asking you on Jordan Love, when we talk about who are the top 5 quarterbacks in the game, are you willing to already put him there and not continue the discussion? Like that he's already in the top class, and you would not be surprised at all if he runs through road games and wins a Super Bowl. If he runs through Detroit, if he runs through Philadelphia and wins a Super Bowl.
I don't know if I can cement him in the top 5 right now. Extremely talented, still very early in his career. The top 4 cemented. It's Josh Allen, Lamar, Patrick, Joe Burrow, whatever order you want to go.
The thing is, that top 5 trick I played it years ago as a top 10 trick when I was putting Rex Grossman in my top 10. Because once you get after 9, it was tough. Yeah. Once you get after 4, it becomes a difficult thing to find who the 5th one is.
Yeah, and I would probably put Matt Stafford there. He's very good quarterback, and it's really easy to him. He's at that stage of his career. But I think Jordan Love is right there. It was a joke in those beginning parts of the season where he's throwing interceptions. That is the question mark around Jordan Love, is because he is this risk taker. He trusts his ability, his arm strength, and sometimes it gets them into trouble. Now, he plays really great. It sucks to be a player to be like, hey, I played really good in the month of December, the most important month of the season, heading into the playoffs. And they call it the Toyotathon. They're like, they make a big joke out of it, and
sometimes it's Happy Honda Days.
Happy Honda Days, whatever you want to call it.
December to remember.
That is why Jordan Love, in my opinion, and why he's in that conversation, because he does get better as the season progresses and into the playoffs, and he has that kind of ability. It's just early on, you have to mitigate the risks that he takes. Otherwise, it gets them into trouble routinely.
Who are the guys you're talking about when you say something that I don't hear a lot of, but I agree with what it is that you said? You said Stafford is at the point of his career where it's easy for him, where he's got such a mastery, has done so many reps of what this is, that there aren't going to be a great many surprises. If you protect him, he will get rid of the ball quickly and accurately, and he knows where to go with the football all the time. How many guys in the sport, any position, are you saying that person has done it so long that they're making a very difficult thing look easy because they've sort of mastered where the high end of their ability is?
In the NFL?
Yes. Because you just said something about Stafford. Yeah. I agree with the assessment, and I don't know how many. Aaron Rodgers made it look like that for me during his prime, where I was just watching all the time. I'm like, how is this easy? You know who else does it? I'll tell you somebody else who does it, and I think it gets underrated. I don't know how many other quarterbacks have the skill I'm about to talk about. The way Joe Burrow, who got sacked a ton early in his career, steps up in the pocket, eyes up. Not afraid, steps into the defensive tackles. Not a lot of quarterbacks are doing that. He makes that look very easy, and it's not easy.
No, it's not. And that's why he's one of those 4. Like Joe Burrow, and they're young. The issue is, like, he has obviously his entire career ahead of him. Like, there's nobody under 35 that has won a Super Bowl in the NFL, quarterback-wise, except Patrick Mahomes. And that's like,
Brady
I don't know
too.
if that's a stat. Is that
Brady,
a stat?
Brady too.
Yeah, Brady when he inevitably comes back.
Yeah, of course. But like I said, under 35.
Under 35.
Yeah.
What is the stat? Wait a minute. You guys said
Is
Brady.
that not right?
That
Hold on.
can't be right. That
Hold
can't
on.
be right.
Well,
Not
this is
under
what happened.
35 ever as a quarterback. Under 35
Right
presently
now.
today,
Got
active
it.
in the NFL.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Got it.
Thank you. Mike, you were saying earlier in the show, and I'll let you continue your point in a second, but you, when I said the word hella, you said you were going to throw a flag. Can we get a flag now so that we can oh, there it is. Wow, okay, there you go.
We've been so quick today.
So we're throwing a flag at Andrew Hawkins for a stat that he lost confidence in just based on the reaction of the room. He had confidence in the stat, and then he realized he's been faking it, didn't see the game last night. All of you stared at him silently. What is...
I like to pay my fine.
No, I was shell-shocked. What you saw on my face, I was shell-shocked. What an unbelievable stat.
I'm going to get the stat again from him and see what's right. What is correct.
That's right.
But because you mentioned the fine, I am here to announce to everybody here and to the audience that we now have a new fine system because it's going to have enforcers, and Sarah Spain has gotten involved. And now we have the Venmo fine bucket.
Oh,
it is
Venmo
it's
bucket
sponsored?
is presented by Venmo.
Nice.
And it's been a long-standing issue here. No one has cash anymore. Stugotz always conveniently plays that card. Well, now we have the Venmo bucket presented by Venmo.
So we will be able to pay all of the fines that need to be paid around here. But now give the stat more confidently, and we will try to verify it.
I've verified it.
There's only one quarterback under the age of 35 in the NFL that has won a Super Bowl, and it's Patrick Mahomes.
He's right. I'm looking at him like, oh, wow, because it's Mahomes. Stafford is over 35 now. Brady, Mahomes, Brady, Nick Foles.
Retired.
Brady, and then Peyton Manning, Brady, then Russell Wilson, then who is that? Is that Flacco?
Yeah, Tom Brady's pretty good.
Yeah.
Eli, Aaron Rodgers. Like now I'm like almost 10 years,
1980s.
Years, yeah.
So the point is like we look at these quarterbacks and they are incredible. Joe, Lamar, Josh Allen, but it's the same narrative, and it's depending on who you're talking about. If you make it like, oh, Lamar needs to do this, right? Or Josh Allen, no one's done it except Mahomes. Like he's in a class of his own.
You can debate Flacco, but he's not a starter anymore.
He's under 35?
Well, no, I'm just saying he did it when he was under 35.
No, but he's saying
it's
like,
currently
he's
basically
saying,
like
is
I'm
any of these young
by the premise. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
What is current?
There are no
current?
active quarterbacks
Yeah.
under the age of 35 who have won a Super Bowl as a starting quarterback.
Where does Stafford fall into this?
He's over 35.
He's,
right?
you know
35.
what? Okay, enough.
Major penalty, 5 minutes for stumbling.
Chris Cody, Mike Ryan, both of you out of here. Both of you. I'm out of here. Yes, both of you. No, you too, Taylor. You out of here. You out of here as well. We have a Venmo fine bucket that is now in play. I'm very excited about this, being able to take your money for the holidays.
Now, this is the interesting thing, because while that stat is cool, it also illustrates that 6 of the last 8 Super Bowls have been won by 2 guys, Brady and Mahomes.
yeah.
So, like that's the other part of this, is that for all this accolades and this guy and that guy and this guy's win MVPs, 2 guys have been winning this thing.
The Chiefs are going to play 3 games in 10 days with a quarterback on a bad ankle. Like they run the risk of collapsing here at the finish line because there are a lot of difficulties with what it is that they're presently doing, winning all of these close games. But I wanted to get Amin and Hawk's thoughts on what is happening around Travis Hunter. He is a star. He is headed to superstardom. It is rare in football to know the faces. Only the quarterbacks get that. Maybe a couple of Kelseys every once in a while, but it's rare to have famous faces from college entering football because they wear a mask. And this person is an internet sensation. He is very popular with young people. And I want to show you some video here of Travis Hunter dancing in his home with an assortment of his trophies. He took all the hardware. That's the Biletnikoff. It's not the Thorpe, although Dion promised to give him his own Thorpe. It's the Heisman. I don't know what else. There's a third trophy back there.
Biletnikoff.
Okay, yeah, the best receiver
Steve Martin.
as well. We need to change that to another receiver. No,
The Biletnikoff?
Nobody here remembers Fred Biletnikoff.
Oh,
There's
man.
nobody.
I didn't know his name was Fred.
Yeah, his first name was Fred.
Freddie.
No way.
Freddie? You
Freddie
don't know Freddie
Blitnikoff. Freddie B.
Former Raider.
Yes, nobody knows who Fred Bolitnikoff is.
I literally just told you who he was.
You did, yes. So yes, not nobody, but I don't.
Well, I am a nobody,
All right,
so.
put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Do you know who Fred Bolitnikoff was? But the thing that I wanted to ask you guys about all of this swirling around him, because we talked earlier this week, and Mike saying he was the #1 recruit in the country, and I'm like, go ahead and look at all the Heisman Trophy winners and give me all the guys who panned out as #1 recruits in the country, who then went through college and actually showed themselves to be the #1 recruit in the country.
Yeah, Bryce Young was the last one to do it, and I got to tell you, the most recent crop of #1 recruits in the country look like they're well on their way with Jeremiah Smith and Arch Manning.
Historically, that has not been so. Maybe something has changed, but historically, your rate of failure, it's just very hard to get from high school to the pros. But as it relates to Travis Hunter, and the thing that I wanted to ask you about,
Yes.
Now Bow Wow is on the internet also telling him, mind his money, be careful around your woman. A whole lot of adults are giving
Bow Wow? Is that what we're
Yes.
reporting this on?
Yes, Bow Wow.
Where did he come from?
Columbus.
He is born in Columbus. But he reps like a lot of cities. I'm sorry that.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
And one of the things that Bow Wow said is that you're being covered more for your relationship than you are for winning the Heisman Trophy. Now, that's not true, but there is this disconnect. In the mainstream, you're being covered for winning the Heisman Trophy. On the internet, you're being covered for your relationship. These are two different conversations happening in two different places, and the fault line on that conversation is where podcasts and things like this can get can find the lane between what the mainstream media is reporting, because you will not see anything about his relationship on ESPN, on Fox. You will not see it anywhere. That's not it, because this is internet gossip. And so the thing I wanted to ask both of you is, when internet gossip becomes something that reduces the standard of what is being discussed on television, where you can be more personal, climb into someone's life, and then feel comfortable to tell a young man what his relationship should be, how do you navigate the distance between those two things? The mainstream media is not interested in this subject matter, but the people are. Like, this is clearly a conversation point that people want to talk about, whether it's fair to talk about it or not.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people that want to talk about a lot of things that we don't address. Like, a lot of people want to talk about rotten things that we don't get into. This is a vice.
Like my face.
This is not.
I wouldn't mind talking
It
about
is
that.
not for me. Too many people moralizing it. Too many people that don't know the dynamics of their relationship. Maybe they're totally fine with this. Maybe they have an arrangement. You don't know the lives of professional athletes. Get out of there.
Yeah.
My fault. I was going to say the thing that reminds me of, though, for Travis Hunter, it reminds me of when we watched the Britney Spears documentary on Hulu. And in it, there's a scene where she pulls up to Starbucks drive-thru and gets mobbed. And she's like, oh, my God. And I'm like, yeah, man, you don't get to live a regular life anymore. Like, these things have to be, your life has to be curated almost in the sense that you don't go to Starbucks. You need Starbucks, someone gets you Starbucks. Or you get a Starbucks in your house like some rich people have done, right?
Bobby Witt Jr. has a Whataburger at his wedding.
Whataburger.
He created a whole Whataburger off of Whataburger, and he had it at his wedding.
You sound jealous.
I mean, why wouldn't I be jealous of that?
And a jealousy there. I felt that too.
Dan wants to renew his vows now.
Just to get a
Look at how amused old Swollen Face is with his own joke there. I just saw his face shake and not his upper lip.
Your Val, you are all that and a bag of chips. The bomb.
Travis Hunter has to know that this comes with it, and he has to learn from prime time that this is a part of the process. Mm-hmm. If Travis Hunter goes to Florida State, he's still an incredible player. We don't care as much. That's just a fact of the matter, and that is the prime time effect. And I feel like there is nobody better positioned to teach Travis Hunter that lesson. Now, my advice to Travis Hunter would be keep the main thing the main thing. You're going to make a bunch of money from football. And if any of these things become distractions that affect how you play on the field, which they will, and they can, and they have, and I know many of cases and examples of that, then it's not worth it before you get to the inevitable $200 million you're going to be worth in 3 short years.
Can I ask the group something? Help with producing of this show, because something just happened to me, and it happened just to me, and it's a bit of a purgatory I'm trapped in. So he's talking, Hawk is talking, and he says, "Keep the main thing the main thing." And then Jeremy, who's always thinking about the Heat and always wanting to talk, gives me the private show in just my ear of Eric Spoelstra, because Eric Spoelstra says all the time, "You got to keep the main thing the main thing."
Ooh, goosebumps.
I don't want this in my life. I'm not saying Jeremy in general. I'm saying
No, you are. I know.
No,
All right, Jeremy, get out of here.
No. I'm not saying Jeremy in general. I'm just asking you what I do with. He just needed to say it to somebody, and I've got a whole team of people better equipped to absorb it than me while trying to listen to Hawk. I don't need a private Miami Heat show in my ear, but he is very frustrated that he doesn't get more Heat talk from our show. Never mind just him, that our show isn't discussing the Miami Heat enough.
He's got to get out of here, though. That was an affront to production.
You don't want a Tyler Hero stat?
No, but I do want how Jordan Love performs when the McRib is back.
Oh, that's great that you asked, because I was able to compile that information for you. Interesting thing. Okay. Hey, Poppy. Subtle.
Can we isolate that? Stat of the Day is presented by Miller Lite.
It turns out that the December to Remember sales event and the McRib are at the same time. The McRib normally comes back in December. So for both of those stretches, Jordan Love in his career has thrown for 2,157 yards, 17 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. And Mike, before you ask, I remember you were asking me about the Dollarita. Now, this is interesting because this year, the Dollarita was only back in May, not a time where football is played. And I look back, in 2022, only in select locations for a limited time before the NFL season. So the only stretch that we can look at is 2023 for Jordan Love. During that stretch where the Dollarita was back, in October, 591 yards, 3 touchdowns, 4 picks.
Ooh.
So not great.
Not good.
All right.
So if you're a Packers fan, you got to hope the Dollarita never comes back during the
when
season.
McDonald's has a monopoly?
Major penalty on the ice, 5 minutes for rambling.
For who?
Monopoly.
Fine, I'll look it up.
Pretty long.
Here or in the penalty box?
In the penalty box, you can give us Spin Room, Tyler Hero
Step
stat
card.
from the other
Bring
room.
Taylor back when you come back.
Dan, I'd like to just say right now, that is the most informative he's ever been in the history of the show. You're kicking him out?
Well, I was locked in. I'm not going to lie. I appreciated the stats, and I wanted more.
But it was for the SPO thing, so it's like hockey.
Well, yeah.
It's a delayed penalty.
Okay. Never mind.
Keep the main thing, Jeremy.
The other thing that I wanted to talk about with you two is everything that's going on with Luigi Mangione. The
brothel guy.
The video yesterday of an alleged murderer who shot a healthcare CEO in the street. The video of him being surrounded by authorities like he were Hannibal Lecter. And many people opined that he looked cool as a menace to society surrounded by this. There's a fascinating thing going on around him where with young people demographics, you will get an alarming percentage in the 30s or 40s who think it's somewhat reasonable what he did. Like you will get numbers that you'll be like, what are we doing here in terms of the desperation between haves and have-nots where the desperation is getting to such a point that these kind of symbols are making an appearance where you're like, this is real desperation being signified by one lunatic.
Well, these kind of symbols do pop up. It's curious to see cable news, how they talk about Luigi. That's bad vigilante justice. But coming up next on Hannity, Kyle Rittenhouse. So, like, we do prop up vigilantes. It's just a matter of the crime and the cable news network that you're watching. But I think we all have to be super careful around this because this is different because he's representing a cause that most people in America have all been affected by being denied a certain thing, having to pay out of pocket, being frustrated with their insurance. So you have to... This requires some tact. And considering he's becoming like a cult hero... This is not a good idea, giving him a Joker perp walk with the mayor behind him and everybody trying to get in the photo. This is just making it more of a myth, and that's not a good thing.
Counterpoint. every one of those law enforcement officers gets to say, "Look at me, I'm in the picture. I'm in the background." That's what this is, right?
That's
this is just,
all that was.
That's just like, hey man, let me get a little closer to Luigi
Eric
here.
Adams was in this photo.
Come on, man.
But
he's not because he's not. Look, he murdered someone allegedly. He's not a mass murder. He's not like this incredibly dangerous person that, oh my God, he could take out 3 guys. We got to surround him by 40 officers.
That's a wild take.
He's a high profile suspect, but he's not like John Wick.
Yeah, he's not a serial killer.
It seemed like he was Superman. The way they were walking.
It's like Arkham. Where are they taking him? Right? Like is he Bane?
He is in that prison.
So you felt like they gave him too much respect by having so many people around him, guarding him while he's in handcuffs. I mean, that's not a crazy take. The crazy take was he's not some mass murderer. He murdered one person.
No. Don't get me
murder
wrong.
happens
Look,
all the time.
Okay, hold on. Is there a difference between him and, let's say, the Beltway sniper from D.C. from like 15, 20 years ago?
An alleged body count. But I think it was misguided. In the effort to play the political game and everyone cheesing for the camera, a dude had off-white Jordans in the photo.
Did he?
Yeah. Like
Not him.
Hella dripped out.
But in this effort to present law and order, New York got this bad guy. They're kind of playing themselves because, again, people are gravitating to this guy, and you're helping build a myth when you're doing that thing.
He had a fresh cut. Like, how did he get that done? Eyebrows done, too. Was it like, hey, can I get a haircut before we go?
They got barbershops in prison.
Can we talk beyond the murder? Can we talk about some of the macro being touched on here when he becomes an avatar for a thing? And the thing I'm talking about is a desperation, okay? Whether it's now, 20 years from now, or 50 years from now, whenever it is that people are fighting, the poorest of people are fighting for money and food. The poorest of people are fighting for health care, and it becomes a more obvious thing that there's a desperation and then there's a wall between the rich people and that desperation. When you have so many people identifying with the desperation that they get numb to the idea of, well, it's just one murder in the street, and the cause, as I told you, I've got to look up the percentages here because the numbers of people who thought it was somewhat rational a thing to do to kill someone in the street over healthcare, no matter how much I agree with whatever your cause is outside of like wartime stuff, I don't know that you can make the argument to me that I'm going to be okay with murdering someone in the street if it's not in self-defense.
Let me be clear, because before everyone takes what I said out of context, I didn't say what he did was all right or justified or anything. All I said was they are escorting him with the type of escort usually reserved for someone who's incredibly dangerous, like over the regular dangerous people, above and beyond. Yeah. And I think that is just performative. Like Mike said, it's like guys are just trying to dude shows up wearing his off-white Jordans. You're trying to flex. You're trying to be like, I was there and I looked amazing.
And I'm dripped out.
Yeah.
I'm hella dripped out, as Dan would say.
I have a theory, and this might sound bonkers to you, but everybody that I've floated this theory to, their initial reaction is like, what are you talking about? And then they kind of see it. So we say this was an alleged murder. He's not even really denying. We know what happened. We have video, right? So how do you go into a trial? Well, if this guy has a cause, my theory is, what if his defense is self-defense? I got him before his policies and this healthcare system got me. Now, it's going to be a difficult trial just because everyone feels some kind of way about healthcare, but if that is his defense, he actually gets to make the trial, the showcase, and put the spotlight on his cause if he argues that as his defense.
But if he didn't have United, then it has nothing to do with him or the guy that he murdered, right?
I think if he's speaking about general health care and an alignment among health insurance companies, I think this defense allows him to do, seemingly, given what we've known, what's been published, his very clear feelings about the matter. If he goes down that road, he at least gets to present his case and put the system on trial.
That's exactly what he'll do, is hopefully, in a way, this will just be a healthcare argument and case, because I said it on Mystery Crate, which aired this morning. It is essentially, with the way people have rallied around this figure, going to be the modern day O.J. Simpson trial. It really is, because you have essentially a case of haves and have-nots as Elon Musk is running the government, making millions off contracts for the military, cutting $190 million for pediatric cancer research and healthcare. Like, this is only becoming more and more of an avatar for the people versus the oligarchs, and people are rallying around this guy. It's really remarkable to watch.
The numbers are startling, okay? The numbers are startling. When I tell you 1 in 4 Americans approve either a little or a lot of what Mangione did here, and 41% of young adults. That's crazy, man. When we're more armed than we've ever been and the divisions are, more overt than they've ever been, it's crazy to me, even while I understand the frustration of the desperation for you to be so desperate that you're okay with somebody else killing somebody in the street in a way that makes him more popular by the day as he's surrounded by, authorities wearing, nice sneakers.
People are number than the left side of my face, Dan.
Batard will do. No Stugotz, Billy or Roy. I want a Dan Le Batard to play with and enjoy. I want a Dan Le Batard for Christmas. Only a Dan Le Batard will do. No Mike, Ryan, Lucy or Tony. I really like the Dan Le Batard. Only a Dan Le Batard really likes to do. Mom says Dan will eat me up, but then teacher says Dan is a gluten-free human. I want a Dan Le Batard for Christmas. Only Dan Le Batard will do. None of the Codys, not even Smetty. I really like Dan Le Batard. Only Dan Le Batard really likes to do.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is brought to you by Smirnoff. We do game days. Please drink responsibly. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York.
That song, both strange and self-involved, not unlike our next guest. Pablo Torre finds out is the name of the very popular podcast that Nick Wright calls the world's most expensive podcast. We will get to that in a second. But Pablo, I need your help with Andrew Hawkins and Amin, both of whom say, and they've shown it, they've proven it, that they can fake a take on just about anything, especially in their area of expertise if they have not seen the game the night before. We want to play first fake with Amin and Andrew Hawkins, and I think I need to kick them out of the room in order to do this. I don't think that I think that needs to happen in the other room, in the penalty box, and I need to ideate with you guys on what it is that we're going to do on first fake. What are the topics going to be? There's got to be a football topic. There's got to be a basketball topic. They have no information, and they're going to be able to fake it because I do believe Andrew Hawkins. I believe this game's too easy for Andrew Hawkins. Not unlike with Matthew Stafford, that he gets bored by the easy elements of this game. And he can do the fakery better than he can do just, whatever, going out there bored and giving you football analysis.
Dan, Amin is a master talker, right? He can talk about anything at any point to anybody, right? I've seen it in action. Sober, not sober. I got my money on Amin to win the first fake.
I like the upstart. I like the novice. Andrew Hawkins has a polish that Amin doesn't.
Not a novice. He's actively doing this for a living on ESPN. He's refining these skills on
dangerous. This is a dangerous game that we're playing. Amin also is somebody who famously can talk to you about his own dreams for hours, and no one's sure if he made those up.
Okay,
so this seems very squarely in his wheelhouse.
Well, we need to have him. I believe there's a competition going on now at Meadowlark for all the space and all the money and all the places where it is that we have to fight for the things that we believe in. And I believe when I call Andrew Hawkins a novice, I'm talking about around here. I mean, we got a sage veteran who's been doing the take game and making fun of the take game, and he's old and tired, man. Look at his face.
What happened? Is he all right? Is Amin all right?
I'm just saying, Andrew Hawkins comes in here. He smells good. He smells like confidence. He smells like I'd like to do all of the things better than these people around here do them. He's not coming here to be a peer. He's coming here to get past us.
He's already past us.
And I believe
didn't Andrew Hawkins invent like a virtual reality system?
Yeah,
I just saw that on the internet the other day. I was like, wait a minute.
He's not
Is
some
Andrew Hawkins
ragtag upstart. Even around these parts, he walks in, he commands a room. He's the man.
Okay, you can do all you want in terms of supporting all the things Andrew Hawkins is. I believe he is those things as well. I also believe that he's about to dust Amin. No, says Tony.
No way.
All right, let's take our bets now before we do this because we're going to get to this in a second. But go ahead and take our bets. Just tell me who you got. Who you got? One
the guy
name.
That's doing it presently, actively for ESPN. I'm going Andrew Hawkins.
You know where I stand.
I'm gonna go with Amin. This is his comfort zone. I got Amin.
Nah, Amin's playing hurt. I'm going to go with Andrew.
Hawk's confidence is too high right now.
Amin El Hassan is absolutely going to destroy Andrew Hawkins at this.
Roy brought up a good point, though. He's playing hurt.
Best ones do. You know what they tell their bodies?
Not today.
Not today.
All right, so this is pretty dramatic. Do you guys have a football question? I want to go football with both of them. basketball with both of them, and then I want to go to a subject that neither one of them know anything about.
You're hosting the debate desk, Dan.
Okay.
You're throwing out the football topic.
All right. Let's go to the other room and see what we have here. And again, this is all born of the Chargers beat the Broncos last night, 34-27. Fun game. Charger defense all of a sudden can't do anything right. There's an advantage to going first or going. There's an advantage to going second here. I will go out to you first, Hawk, on your area of expertise. Can you please explain to me why Jim Harbaugh has been good at coaching defense, but why that defense, which was best for points per game the entire season, the last 2 games all of a sudden is getting shredded pretty good?
Look, when you're at this point in the season, you have to understand that things change, right? Like it's like that sophomore quarterback slump. You go out and you have a great first year, and then defensive coordinators adjust. They figure out what your tendencies are. This is what happens late in the season. And for Jim Harbaugh, him understanding both sides of the ball, when you brought him into Los Angeles, you knew that's what you were getting. Not just a guy who can tutor the quarterback with all the ability in the world, but also his understanding of defense, bringing in mentor. And in these moments where they go down by a whole lot of points and they surge back because of that prowess, because of that knowledge that he has on both sides of the ball, December is when you get the most from your head coach.
Look at this, Dan Le Batard. He didn't even answer your question. He didn't even address your question. The question was, the defense is great and has been shredded the last 2 weeks. You know why, Dan Le Batard? I'm going to tell you exactly why that's happened. Because they figured him out. Because the book was out. You know, he comes in, he's been in the NFL before, but he's been gone for a while. So a lot of guys, they don't know what he's doing, what he's thinking or whatever. So he comes in with some new stuff, and everyone's like, how do we adjust? But guess what? The NFL, if anything else, is a study league. It's a league where we get playbooks and other playbooks, and we watch and we learn and we make notes and we see what worked against other people and what didn't. And what's happened in the last couple of weeks, Dan Le Batard, is the league has figured him out.
I think Amin. I think
like Daffy Duck there.
I think Hawkins has actually. Hawkins concedes defeat there because Amin spit in his face with a swollen lip.
They take notes.
If you ask me which guy is the former football player dealing with a lifetime of football injuries, I'd be like, it's the guy with the fat lip who is cognitively impaired but also very sharp right now.
Hawk, would you concede that Amin won that because he said take notes in your face and spittle in your face?
He said it like twice, and it was a lot, and I couldn't hold it in at that moment because I tapped out by looking at his face, and then when I came back to, he was yelling notes with such emphasis, and I'm like, what is going on here?
All right, so 1-0 Amin, and it wasn't notes, it was notes.
Notes, yes.
Let's go to Amin now. Amin, please explain to me why it is that Joel Embiid cannot get along with Philadelphia, and if you believe he's not tough enough.
Well, Dan Le Batard, I think when you talk about Joel Embiid, there's a lot of things going on. Number one is I never want to fault a guy for getting injured. Injuries happen. Brandon Roy, Penny Hardaway, Grant Hill. There's so many great players, Bill Walton, whose careers were shortened and their legacies were impacted by injury. At the same time, I don't think Joel Embiid does himself any favors when he talks in the media talking about, look at all I've done for this city, even though they haven't got out in the second round of the playoffs since Allen Iverson was on the sidelines there. Even though he came back not to run in the playoffs, but because he wanted to go to the Olympics, he came back for a good show of face to play in the playoffs for the Philadelphia 76ers. These little things, these little microaggressions, as these kids like to call it, those are the things that do not endear him to a city that otherwise would love him. Also, one last thing, he ran the scapegoat out of town. If Ben Simmons were here, nobody would be blaming Joel Embiid for anything.
True lack of leadership. His ego is swollen like Amin's lip. That is the issue with Joel Embiid. From a leadership perspective, you cannot go out of your way to show everybody how much you care about personal accolades. You cannot go out of your way to show everybody how different you are, how cut above the rest of you are, because all the people that are tasked with following you feel that and see that, and they will go away from whatever it is you're trying to do. So he cannot motivate anybody around him because it's so very clear that everything he cares about involves Joel Embiid. It's hard to get along with. And in those locker rooms where everybody is high paid and everybody wants to be the star, a real leader does not separate himself from the group. He goes out of his way to say, hey, all I care about is our collective success. And because of that, he will never get along with another star. He will never be in a position where he's in a locker room and people will fall in line and say, this is a guy that we believe in and we will follow to the ends of the earth. And it will show up every single time playoff basketball comes around that he is not of the creme de la creme as far as NBA stars are concerned.
Pablo, your thoughts? Do I have a ruling here? I don't love that on First Take they're sharing a microphone. I think we need to do better than that. In the next version of this, we will make sure
They're also sitting on a sofa.
To produce this slightly better than I'm producing it right now.
He's also forcing me to face him because he's on the profile of it, so now I feel like I have to turn that way. And I think he spit Neosporin onto the mic.
This is the thing. Amin has been trying to hide his face for two days. Have you not noticed he's done the show with his back to the shipping container because he's looking at me? He's never been so attentive on me in his life, and it's just because he doesn't want people to see the scar on his face. Pablo, how's this going so far? We need a third topic.
I am going to argue that Amin Al-Hassan is currently the best version of himself as a debater I've ever heard. Amin, you can hear him. You can hear the Queens. You can hear the Stephen A. in his voice as his cognitive impairment also is clearly upon him. I also would argue that Amin should probably try, Hawk knows this. Toradol is a thing football players get before a big game. Amin should actually hurt himself before debating. This is currently working for him.
This is my Toradol? Is that what you're saying?
It's the opposite of Toradol. You have whatever that is.
Do you were your feelings hurt by me underestimating you in this matchup?
Everybody. All of these guys. The only person I will allow grace to is Roy, because Roy said Amin's playing hurt. But all the other guys say, oh, no, this Andrew Hawkins, this or that. You guys don't understand. I do this for a living.
There it is. See, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. You're cosplaying as Stephen A. Smith. That doesn't count.
He's cheating. Hey, had I known he was just going to be Stephen A.,
That's the game.
Of course
That's the game, Hawk. Listen, it's one of those things. Skill. There's no way he's not a leader. You got to understand he's not
Now
a leader.
we have a fight. Now we got a fight.
I didn't know we were cosplaying. Is that what you wanted?
Yes, I want. You want to try again? You want a third chance on? Do you want a third chance on a topic neither one of you know about, so that we can do this correctly? Yes, you're both in a costume. You're both characters.
Now, here's the thing, Dan Le Batard. I know that the scoreboard already says I've won this thing. But if you mean to tell me I'm afraid of Andrew Hawkins, I will put my reputation on the line, and I will say this. Winner take all for this last one.
That was good. Can we do the debt ceiling? Can we do the debt ceiling as the topic?
No. You know what?
Shut up, nerd.
Kick him out of here. Hold on a second. Just get him out of here. No. The debt ceiling.
That would be a great topic for debate.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes for boring.
Guys, the last take we'd like to have from you is the movie Wicked. Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo both gave stellar performances. Both are nominated for awards coming up. But between the two, as Galinda and Elphaba, which gave the better performance?
This is tough, man.
Which?
Which? Okay.
Did it on purpose.
Here we go. Here's the thing, Dan Le Batard. I love Wicked. I took my kids on Thanksgiving Day to watch Wicked, and they were excited. You know, we pre-gamed. We prepped by watching Wizard of Oz to get ourselves into the mood, get ourselves into the mind state to watch this wonderful, wonderful pellicula, as they say down here in Miami. And I love Miami. Miami's different. But I digress. Both actresses delivered an amazing performance. Both sang, both made us laugh, they made us feel. Now, what I will say is this. I felt like Ariana Grande's character was more of a one note, so it was easier for her to play. Meanwhile, the Wicked Witch of the West had a lot more complexity, a lot more texture to her. And so she had to go high, she had to go low, she had to left, go right.
Talk about Latinas.
I'm going to go.
She's Italian. Common misconception.
My bad.
His face is falling apart. I choked at the end.
Stephen A. Smith, listen to me. Like my grandmama always tell me.
Oh my God.
You can put a raccoon in the ass of a possum, but you can't make a jackass jump. Okay? Everybody knows. When I'm watching Wicked, you mean to tell me Ariana Grande, the best?
He won that one.
Round goes to Shane.
He won that one.
That was winner
That
take
is how you
all.
know.
That was winner take all.
That's how you
Ding
know.
ding.
That's how you know I'm a fair competitor, man. I got to give it to him, man.
I watch way too much Shannon Sharp. There is nobody that I enjoy more in life than watching Shannon Sharp, and that is the honest to God truth. So I should have brought my muscle suit next
That was
week.
great. Good job, guys.
Yeah, good.
Bravo.
I'll bring a suit.
We have embraced
Yes.
debate.
Good. We will make this better and better. And also, just clip
fan.
that last part where cut it out and edit it out where he says that he loves Shannon Sharp. Send that out just to the internet without that context, please. Do it unfairly.
I'm down with that.
So that he can have beef with Shannon Sharp. And
Homophobia.
I like him too. He's great. He's wildly entertaining. Thank you, guys. Come on back in here, please. Pablo Torre finds out, I've told you, it is a very popular podcast. It is an award-winning podcast. It has, I'm going to say, the most critical acclaim from snooty elitists in the podcast world than any other podcast presently going in sports. I think I can say that.
Yeah, we lead the league in that, in snooty elitist approval, definitely.
You are on MSNBC, and you are now in the middle of a liberal elite spaceship in one of your side projects. How is that going for you? I've seen you. You are now a regular on Morning Joe, correct?
That's right. I'm an MSNBC analyst. It is a fun ivory tower where I get to be a jock. That's what I am over there.
You're the popular. You're the popular.
I'm the
Woof.
sports
Popular.
guy who gets to be chill and hanging out with the fellas. That's what I do over there. Unlike here, where I'm not respected really in any way. I'm reduced to a kind of like inset picture-in-picture thing where I just laugh at people do bits.
Tony, you were making faces at Pablo because that's what's happening. What
Pablo's the jock on where?
No, if you guys had not noticed, I know, Tony, why you're not watching this. So let's. So
It's Pablo.
So to find Pablo on MSNBC now in the morning, doing morning Chuckle Fest television at what I will say is a pretty dangerous time in America, and some people are going to visit the White House or Trump when they shouldn't be as journalists. But I'll say what I want there. So you are in the middle of that show, and I'm not going to put you in an more awkward position than that with that show. But you are absolutely the cool sports person who comes in,
Dan, yes.
and everyone loves talking sports with you, even though some people on that set don't even want to talk sports and have never talked sports. But now, because you bring sports to them, you're the cool guy.
I'm a palate cleanser. A representative of the thing that Americans actually care about. In a place where people are genuinely worried and fretting about politics, about whatever is happening in D.C. right now, which, again, I think would be an awesome debate topic for Shannon Sharp to tackle. What do we do about the debt ceiling?
He had to go. He had to go. Shannon Sharp, triumphant performance. He just left.
Very good. I think that my role there is I love talking about sports to people who don't actually know anything about sports. It's kind of the inverse of the exercise you just did. What if you knew something about sports and the audience didn't? It's fantastic.
Have you seen? I mean, it's too early for you on the West Coast because I've enjoyed. My friends are watching Pablo. They're talking about Pablo. Pablo's getting to a new audience. I would say it's a different audience.
Very different.
Yeah,
audience.
we've lived in these different. All of us have lived in the ESPN bubble, but it's different from here. They are fascinated by this shiny sports journalist who comes over, and they're like, "Wow!" And he's smart when he talks about the toys.
Well, we picked the ambassador for sports to go on that show, right? It has to be someone that is palatable for those people. You couldn't,
a model minority. Yeah. Pablo Torre is a model minority for the new America that we can all believe in.
You're welcome.
It's one of those things where it's like, if you gave them an actual sports person, it might be too much, too intense for them. So you add a little bit of milk.
You give them one from the library.
Yeah,
Get me a sports person from the library. Bring him over here.
Let him push his glasses up the bridge of his nose. Well, actually.
And don't wear glasses, actually. I'm a guy who doesn't wear glasses anymore. I wear contacts now. The library can be fun. Libraries can be fun. There are books in them.
Put it on the poll, Juju. Is the library fun at Le Batard Show?
Well, real sports guys want to go to real sporting events. And as you know, listeners, there's only one place that you should check if you want to attend some of the biggest events going. We got college football playoff games, NBA, big-time NFL games, legacies on the line. And if you want to be there, you download the Game Time app, you create an account, and you use the code DAN, that is D-A-N, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. You get panoramic seat views, all-in pricing with the push of a button, so there are no surprises when you check out. Download Game Time today. Pablo Torre, what time is it?
I believe it's game time.
It is game time, sports guy.
Just game time. You don't have to use 4 words when you can use 2.
Oh.
It's game time. Just you hit it. I believe it's game time. You got to have some conviction.
I believe. If my calculations serve correct.
Pablo Torre finds...
That's right. That's right. What we need more is just overconfident declarations of things as opposed to, an open-minded curiosity. Sure, let's go that way instead of the way that I'm at.
Pablo, are you here to shill on behalf of Pablo Torre Finds Out? Is it the episode with you, me, and Mina, or is it something else that you're promoting?
I'm actually here to say thank you, Dan. It's been a really long but incredible year for us in New York. We are a satellite upon the moon, upon the sun. Let's upgrade it to the largest celestial body. That is you guys in Miami. And what I come here to say is, yes, we have a great episode today with Dan and Mina. Yes, we had a great episode yesterday with Paul Feinbaum and the secret history of his callers and their criminal histories, which are both hilarious and profound.
His collar?
His collars.
Oh, multiple different shirts. Got it.
And they are not normal collars. Do not find a new slant. What I'm here to say is that it's a show that we really couldn't launch without Dan. And so when Dan talks about how much it costs, I reckon with that. Because the whole thing is that we make a show with ambition that is powered by people who otherwise are not getting paid. Like, we are paying journalists to go report stories for us. We're trying to go to death row as well as trying to buy a sculpture of myself made out of butter. We're trying to do serious stuff and silly stuff. And I just want to say thank you legitimately, because the premise of this company was we would get to make something from scratch that lived up to some amount of hype. And I am very proud that on some level we have done that. And it's really hard. And so thank you to Dan and to everybody in Miami for enabling the nonsense that I know you guys like to make fun of, but deep down, I think you might like, just like a library, has some fun stuff in it too.
And it only cost $242 million.
Well,
this month.
Inflation adjusted.
This month. You should have seen what I found out when I started looking at some of the numbers.
Okay, hold on. By the way, just as an FYI, what I found out is that Dan should never be in a finance meeting.
I shouldn't have.
Dan comes out of that thing and he's like, I got takes. I'm like, oh, God.
No, I come out of those things and I'm like, I got taken by everyone in our company. Everybody who wants more. I just looked at some of those numbers. It's a dizzying array of following everybody's curiosities totally into an abyss.
I mean, I said thank you, I just said
that makes it okay.
Yeah. It does make it okay, actually. You know what? That is happy holidays. Legitimately happy holidays. I said when you got on here, this is our last show of the year. We're going to celebrate in the club with an assortment of sounds from the year. But I am grateful for everyone here who has made this machine work, everyone on the other side. And
genuinely.
We've got close to 50 employees. I don't know where it is. And a whole ton of contractors.
They all work for Pablo.
It is a spaceship, yes. We got a ton of contractors, most of whom work for
Pablo.
Mike,
can we get Dan out of the meetings? Why is he in the meetings? I thought the whole thing was he shouldn't be in the meetings. And now he's in the meetings at the end of the year. What are we...
Happy holidays from our fan to yours. With special gratitude for our entire Metal Art crew.
I groan and run my fingernails across his neck, and he gasps a strangled moan. You're going to unman me, Anna. You take me. I sit down onto him, reveling in the fullness of my possession, reveling in his reaction, watching his unravel beneath me. I feel like a goddess. Anna, touch me, please. I lean forward and steady myself with my hands on his chest. Come on, baby. I need this. Give it to me. And I explode, my body a slave to his, and wrap myself around him, clinging to him like a vine as he
Am I paying all these people?
With me. Then collapses
All
his
of them?
full weight, pressing me into the mattress.